This is episode 544, Struggling with Making Big Life Decisions with Asa. Welcome to Life Coaching with Christine Hassler, a space where truth and love come together to guide you back to your truest self. Hi, I'm Christine, a master coach, author, and spiritual psychologist. For over 20 years, I've supported people through the deep work of letting go, waking up, and coming home to who they truly are. Each week, you'll hear an unedited, unscripted coaching session with someone moving through a challenge or block in their life. These are tender and powerful conversations where deep healing happens in real time. Even though I'm coaching someone else, you will hear yourself in their story. This is a place where you will feel seen and supported and walk away with insight, emotional relief, and tools you can apply in your own life. Let's dive into today's session. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm so happy to have you here. The particular decision that our caller today is struggling with is whether or not to have another baby. And that may not be a decision you're currently struggling with right now, but I think a lot of you out there can relate to being in limbo about something, going back and forth, logically feeling one way, emotionally feeling another way, and really being kind of in the hell of indecision, because being in limbo and being in indecision can be really exhausting and taxing on our nervous system. So whether you relate to the particular subject or not, there's a lot we unpack here in terms of being in limbo. So as you're listening to this call, consider, is there a decision in your life you're struggling over? Are you potentially looking for something outside of you, something that you could choose to make you feel a certain way? Was your own emotional expression and therefore decision-making really supported as a child? So keep these questions in mind when you listen to my conversation with Asa. Before we dive in, I want to talk to you about feet. First, I'm going to talk to you about my feet. They're not my best body part, that's for sure. I've had trouble with my feet since I was very young. Think bunions, think too narrow a foot, just like not a good situation. Can't wear heels. I'm very particular about the kind of shoes that I wear. That's why I was excited about a brand called Palooza. They're a 5-toe minimalist shoe, which offers an authentic barefoot style experience, but with sufficient cushioning to use for any manner of everyday movement, fitness, and athletic activities. Paloozas are also incredibly stylish, so you get a barefoot shoe that looks pretty good. Paloozas are the solution to the damage and destruction caused by modern shoes, the elevation of the heel, excessive cushioning and support features, and toes crammed together. The result is 77% of Americans suffering from chronic pain, like bunions, raise my hand to that, corns, blisters, so on and so forth. I mean, sometimes I'm amazed at the tennis shoes people wear. They're like heels. So Palooza's best of class advantage is the individual 5-toe articulation, a separate slot for each of your toes, which is pretty cool. It allows for the correct dynamic movement of the foot, which is impossible when toes are all in a single box, even a wide toe box. So when you put on a pair of Paloozas, you're getting an automatic foot strengthening effect, a toe spacer effect, and a healing effect from the damage caused by regular shoes. I want you to try a pair of Paloozas with no risk, and you'll quickly realize these are the most comfortable and beneficial shoes you've ever worn. They're designed to make you feel like we're walking barefoot on a putting green. So go to palooza.com, that's Peluva.com, and use the code Christine for 10% off your first pair. Again, Peluva.com, and use the code Christine for 10% off your first pair. Asa, welcome to the show. How can I help?
Hi, thank you for having me, Christine.
Of course.
I think my ultimate issue is that I am really wanting to have a second child. This is an expectation of mine, and I'm drowning in sort of all aspects of my life. And I feel like I need to let this go. But I haven't even made the decision to let it go, to start getting over the expectation hangover. So I was hoping for some advice there.
To let go of having another child?
Yeah, I think it's what I have to do. But I have a block where intellectually I know it's not a smart decision. Mm-hmm. But I want it so badly, and I feel very selfish that I have this great want for myself and for my son to have a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
But I deep down, I think I know it's not a good idea, but like I can't get there. And I feel like it's sort of stymieing where I am currently, because in the back of my mind, I'm constantly like, am I doing this? Am I not doing this? I'm not making the right decisions to get there. Like, am I sabotaging myself on purpose because I know it would be way too much for me? Sort of that. Just I don't know.
Well, can we speak to your logical side first? Because sometimes it helps just to get that out of the way. So
Yes.
logically, tell me why you feel it's not a good idea to have another baby.
My marriage is not strong. I have had for a while, and I'm having new mental health and physical health issues. I'm older, I'm 42, so I have a lot of fear about pregnancy complications. Financially, I'm looking at the economy and thinking this is not a smart idea. And a large one is that my parents are very old and sick, and I'm having to help them a lot. And it's very hard to balance that as it is right now. And adding a whole other human, I just feel like it's not smart.
Well, maybe we could use different words, because especially for women, when we try to talk ourselves logically into or out of a heart decision, it doesn't really compute. There's not a satisfaction or relief that comes from the choice because we aren't fulfilled through logic. Our heart has to be on board. Would you agree with
Got
that?
it? Yeah. Yes, I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah.
Yeah. The thing that strikes me about what you're saying is how important a mother's health is to a child on all aspects.
Yes.
So much of how a child orients to the world is based on, both parents, but primarily the mother. And what I'm hearing is you need a lot of mothering.
Yes.
You need nurturing. You need support. You need a rebirth.
I agree.
And I really personally relate and professionally hear you on that desire for another baby. So let's speak to that for a moment. From your heart, from your belly, why do you want to bring another child into the world?
I want my son to have more family. I don't have a lot of family or a strong community where I live. I feel like he's already sort of behind in having a support network. And I like the idea of him having someone kind of like womb to tomb,
Yeah.
I think there's so much to learn. I think I could learn more being a mom. What's sad is Christine, I don't know. I have this, I think part of it, I try to see things from all these different ways. And I get to the point where I'm like, is this what I believe or I think, or am I just
talking yourself into it? Yeah.
But I want him to have a sibling. I also feel like I know better what I'm doing this time. And I kind of want the chance to try again, recognizing circumstances are different. Like every child is different, but I feel better prepared. And I'm also not ready to say goodbye to all the versions of my son that have already passed. I've put away all of his things, and the idea of going through it all and sort of, quote unquote, getting rid of it, donating it, whatever, is like, I'm making this decision not just to not have a second child, but like to fully say goodbye to the other versions of my son.
Yeah. Yeah. I really hear you. Motherhood is so bittersweet. It's a
No,
lot of grief.
I I did not think about that. It's amazing watching him grow and become and change, but things are over and different before you realize it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd like more of it. I can tell why people want to keep having children. It's the most amazing thing to see someone become
Mm-hmm.
and to help them with that. But I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking last night in preparation for this call, thinking about it, and my son he is enough, like in and of himself. He's this amazing person. So do I need to accept that he's it? I mean, should I accept it? I don't even know if I don't know.
I think the question that might be most helpful. Well, first, there's no perfect scenario in life. There's no perfect person. There's no perfect place to live. There's no perfect marriage, no perfect anything. There's only what we create. And for all the reasons you want a sibling, I could sit here and list reasons why it couldn't be good. We can make a pro con list that's equal on both sides. And that's the thing with a choice like this. There's no quote unquote right decision because
Oh,
with those things that you say with a sibling, his sibling could have needs that take you even more away. They could not get along. It could make your marriage and financial situation worse. Your health could get worse. None of these things could happen, right? But it's we can drive ourselves crazy trying to predict the future, analyze, make the quote unquote right decision. But what I'm hearing is a desire that's bumping up against the reality of your life right now.
yes. Yes.
And the what is the decision? What is the choice that is in the highest good of everyone involved? And how old is your son?
He's 3.
3. Yeah. My daughter's 4. And, at least once a week, I'm looking back at pictures and crying of like, oh my God, I miss the 1-year-old and the 2-year-old and 3-year-old version. And I really intentionally get excited about the next version of her that's coming. Right.
Yeah.
And I understand the value of family and siblings. I have a sibling. I have 3 nephews. I watch them interact. I see big families. And I also have that grief of the only having one child and the societal narrative that they're worse off. But I don't know if you've seen any of the research. Everything we've thought about only children is wrong. Only children really do well. They really do well because they have so much love and focus from their parents. Now, this is not me saying an only child is better. There is no better. there is
Right.
there
Right.
is only what works best for your family. And I'll just get personal for a moment to see if it helped because I really was on the fence for the last 2 years about whether or not to have another child. And I really had to look at just my own capacity and also the type of parenting that my daughter requires. She requires a lot. She's not a super easy, just roll with the punches, sleeps really well kind of kid. She's highly sensitive and all kinds of things and amazing. And I see why she chose me. And I really had to feel into with my health, with my capacity, like, is it for the highest good of me? Like, what will I have left for me if I bring another baby into this world at this point in my life? At this point in my life. And for whatever reason, this is the point of your life you're in when you're asking yourself this question. And it's not selfish from my perspective to really ask what is for the highest good for you, because whatever is best for you is going to be best for your son and your family.
There's not much left for me as it is, or at least I haven't figured out a way to sort of prioritize myself and all the chaos. So
Yeah. Well, this is you're teeing up what I was going to say next, which is let go of your age for a moment. The fact that you had your son in your late 30s speaks to your fertility in general. I had my baby older than 42. So let's just put that aside for a moment because I think that's it's putting an urgency and a pressure on you that's
Yeah.
making it harder to any decision that's made under a pressure cooker often can be disconnected from really dropping in and knowing what truly is for the highest and best. So, have you considered putting this decision on pause for a year and really looking at the areas of your life, your marriage, your finances, what the plan is with your parents, your health and well being, and really making giving your own rebirth? And then making that decision from a different place.
I'll be honest, I feel like I've tried that. Or rather, I'm on medical leave from work right now. And I had kept telling myself, don't think you can't even consider having a second child until you get other areas under control. So don't even think about it until you're on leave. And, you start making positive, sustainable change. But now I'm on leave and I'm still struggling.
What are you most struggling with?
Making the right small choices to get to where I want to be. I feel like I want to escape into, sugar and doom scrolling and staying up late because it's the only time that I have a moment to myself. And I feel like I can't get the work started. I feel like I know the things I should be doing physically, psychologically, spiritually, and I can't start. I feel like I'm weak. I don't know how to make better choices. Do you have any advice?
Well, I think a lot of women in their 40 something years can relate to what you're saying because there's tremendous mental hormonal changes that we go through that are hard to explain and understand unless you're going through it. So that could be a piece of it. The other piece of it is that when in midlife, what I've seen is that when the inner child needs that weren't met really come back around.
Oh.
And you might have a younger part of you who's kind of doing the I don't wanna thing. Because let me ask you this. Growing up, did you feel like you had spaciousness to have a childhood, or did you step into responsibility early?
I stepped into some responsibility early. I was certainly expected to be more of an adult than a child in terms of my behavior and interests. I wasn't free, if that makes sense.
Right. Yes, that makes perfect sense based on what you're saying. So it sounds like, and when we have a child, our own inner child can be even more triggered because subconsciously they're mirroring back stuff to us. So it sounds like, and this can also drive a desire to have another child because we want more connection with the parts that feel free and like blank slate ish. And I'm not saying it's totally that. Nothing's ever just one thing. So my sense is that there's a part of you, a younger part of you that just wants to be free, that doesn't want responsibility, that doesn't want to have to figure it out, that just kind of wants to be taken care of, but also be free to express.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then what we do as adults is then we criticize ourselves and we project the same expectations our parents projected on us when we were children onto our inner child again. So, can you see how, in a way, the expectations you're putting on yourself feel familiar.
Yes.
Right. So pushing yourself, trying to motivate yourself, all those things aren't going to work because what you're yearning for is a freedom. And freedom comes from being completely accepted the way you are and for who you are.
Okay.
So what's coming up for you as I say that?
my husband. It's not even fully related. My husband said a lot recently that I can't expect him to be different from who he is, and I just need to accept it. And so I've been trying to think that way too, when I get some feedback from him, and just saying, this is who I am. I am a bit sensitive. I do need my space sometimes, and that's okay. And I shouldn't have to change that part of me. So I try to stand up for myself a little bit more in relation with him. That's literally what popped in my head is just like, what's that?
What a mirror.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it's standing up for yourself, but it's also being compassionate with yourself. Like in those moments at night when you have time for yourself and you find yourself scrolling, really ask yourself, actually, what do I want? Because the scrolling or the doing things that don't really benefit you, it's sort of like an indicator that we're full but not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And instead of having a meltdown, like if we were to put this in 3-year-old language, you'd be having a meltdown. But because that's not socially acceptable, we scroll, we drink, we shop, we watch TV, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So when we are adultified young, the other thing that's expected of us is to be more mature with our emotions than we're ready for. So you probably had to suppress and learn how to disconnect from your feelings at a very young age.
Yeah, well, they were certainly too big for the adults in my life to handle.
Right. Because they couldn't handle their own big feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that why you don't have energy to do the things you quote unquote should be doing, your words, not mine, right?
Yeah.
Is because you've spent so much time and energy your whole life suppressing your emotions, suppressing your expression, and being the version of yourself that you were expected to be.
I have a lot of anger surrounding that.
Yeah, I would too. It was good to have anger around that. How do you get that anger out?
I don't know. I guess doom scrolling. I don't know. I used to write a lot. That's I don't want it to be on the list of the things I should be doing, but I think it would help me process stuff. And
movement, boxing, and the anger burn that I teach, dancing ecstatically, yes, anger is a fiery energy and it needs release.
That's true. Trying to sitting down and writing is pretty contained to let it out.
Yes. Because again, it takes a lot of energy to suppress anger. A lot. I'm always amazed after the anger burn at my women's retreat. The amount of energy women have is incredible. Even though they just push their bodies to the extreme, like they are full of life.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like I've accomplished things I didn't think were possible when you have a child that you can't shut down for.
Right. And instead of kind of like, because I hear you on the do-over, I can totally relate to that. Like, I wish I could take all the knowledge I have now, being a mom, for 4 years and go back and apply it to Athena when she was young. But that's part of the deal. Like, we're learning together. But who you can apply it to is yourself. Because it sounds like there also is a parental do-over you need between you and you.
I already have 2 children.
Exactly. 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 And maybe that's what this, if there is a soul knocking on your door that wants to come in a year or two, maybe this is what he or she needs, is for you to learn how to mother and parent yourself and not just be there for another.
Mm.
Be there for another or be the version of you that the other needs.
Right.
But to really discover who you are, what you want, what's in your highest good. And this little girl inside who felt like she needed to be a certain way to get love and to be safe, she needs to be liberated. That's the rebirth.
I agree. You have a recommendation to really kick it off? I feel like I need something dramatic to like get over the hump and make the good choices.
Well, let this be dramatic enough. Let's not call in something dramatic that you need, because you don't, right? It really is the desire and the choice. And, this choice about whether or not to have another baby, it has been haunting you for a while now. And can that be enough of an inspiration? Can like your desire for clarity move the needle? Your desire to get out of limbo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, because it's been awful for about 18 months of trying to decide.
Mm-hmm. And you want to be present for the child you have. And whenever we're in a limbo, right, we're not totally there.
That's true.
Yeah. So the mental, financial, and marital health, if she's married, of a mother is so important. All of that is foundational to the physical health.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So let this rebirth of you be the priority. In terms of specific things, my inner child course could be very helpful at this point.
Christine, I'm embarrassed. I did do the inner child. I mean, maybe I have to do it again. Things are
When
different
did you
now
do it?
for me. In 2020 or 2021.
Was that before you had your child?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Time to do it again.
Okay.
Time to do it again. So that it's never one and done with inner work. It can be with a kid, but never with inner work. And like I said, having a child brings forward so much of our own childhood stuff. And it really, for lack of a better word, tests a marriage.
Ooh, yeah. Yes.
Because you've got your inner child stuff coming up, his inner child stuff coming up, and all of a sudden you have 3 babies in the relationship. And so doing the inner child now through the lens of being a mother for 3 years, you'll have a different experience. And maybe you need some one-on-one support. Maybe it's time for a coach, someone to like hold that, or a counselor, therapist, someone to hold that space for you and to receive that support, because I have a feeling that, receiving is a muscle you could exercise as well.
Yeah. I've tried to do a lot of things on my own, or had to. So, yes.
Yeah. Which is a survival strategy, which makes receiving help and support. We can have lots of stories around that, but that would be a beautiful thing to shift, because if you do decide to have another child, again, this is just my opinion, doing it from a depleted state, that just feels like a lot for your nervous system, for your body, for your family, for everything. And a child doesn't fix things.
No. And they did deserve me to be as whole as possible before they come. That's why I haven't
Yeah.
like pulled the plug. Oh, that sounded horrible, but like
Yeah.
why I haven't said goodbye completely and just been in limbo, because I know I'm depleted and I don't have enough to give. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm doing a good job with my son, but adding another, I need to improve. I need to get better rhetoric than me just telling myself, get better, do better, improve. But
Yeah.
no, you're right, Christine. I'm depleted and I need to parent myself, learn how to do that.
Well, you get to, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I've got to take my supplements and eat my broccoli. It's not that kind of I have to do this. It really is, oh wow, like I get to take all this mothering desire that I'm feeling for another baby and apply it to myself. Wow. I really
I
deserve
like
that.
I like that approach or that
Mhm.
perspective.
Thank you, Asa, for your sharing your vulnerability and your heart. Oh, the decision about whether to have another child or have a child or any of these big decisions that we deal with in life, they just really, they're so multidimensional and there's so many things that we think about and that we feel. And as I shared there personally, the decision about whether to have another child or even have a child in the first place is a big one, is a big one. And I really feel your heart. And as you could hear in the episode, we didn't talk too much about whether to have a child or not have a child. We really talked about what she was really yearning for underneath all of this. And sometimes, our desire to have a relationship or bring a child into the world, that's a true legitimate desire. And if we chunk it down deep enough or up high enough, however you want to say it, we're looking for love. We're looking for connection. We're looking to love, right? And what was really missing in her life was self-love and support and feeling like she had, a lot to give. And the decision whether or not to have a child is such a personal decision and never something I could truly tell her yes or no to. That's only something she can decide for herself. What I was really present to was how depleted she felt and how perhaps the birth that she was craving was really a rebirth of her own inner child. When we don't have the freedom to be emotionally expressive, when we're forced to grow up too soon, when we're living into someone else's expectations of us, there's a lot we suppress. There's a place in life where the inner child just kind of says no more and doesn't really want to do anything and gives up on everything. And she talked about that a little bit. And there's also trouble making decisions because when our whole life was basically prescribed to us, like we were told, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, this is who you are, this is who you aren't are, we get disconnected from our own inner authority and decision making can feel really, really difficult. So my encouragement to her was to really kind of take the decision off the table for a year or so and work on her health and her stress and her marriage and her financial position, but most of all, her inner relationship with herself, to really mother herself, to nurture herself, to give herself that freedom of expression that honestly, in the first part of motherhood, I mean, in all of motherhood, as I'm talking to my friends whose children are graduating from college now, it's never super easy, right? Like you kind of always worry, always feel like a piece of your heart's walking around in the world. But those first, 3 to 5 years when kids are really, really little, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of you physically, emotionally, and mentally. And for someone that already was in a bit of a pattern of some self-abandonment, emotional suppression, there's most likely a real opportunity for her to come home to herself. And when she feels more grounded and integrated and embodied in herself, I have a feeling that her choice about whether or not to bring another child in the world will become more clear. In other words, she'll just know. She'll just know. Because right now, what it sounded like to me is that she really didn't. It was a back and a forth. And, when we know something, when a truth, when an intuition really drops in, we know. And it's usually a clear yes or a clear no. And even if you're thinking, oh no, there are some decisions where I was kind of a maybe. I bet if you really feel into it, there was at some point a clear yes and clear no. Even if it was a 51% yes and a 49% no, we really know. We know. And so I'm just encouraging you all to come back to your own intuition, your own heart, your own parenting of yourself, to really nourish and nurture yourself. And really ask, what did I not get as a child that I can not only give my own children, but that I can also give myself? Because just because we become parents doesn't mean we stop being parents to ourselves. We can't put our own little one aside and neglect them just because we're mothering our actual children. So for all the moms out there, this is just a reminder to mother yourself as well. And really, it's a reminder for everyone to mother themselves, no matter what gender you are, no matter if you've had children or not, no matter what your relationship status is, it doesn't matter. We all need that unconditional love, nourishment, and nurture. All right, everybody, sending you so much love and many blessings. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Life Coaching. I hope something you heard today resonated with you and helped you to see yourself with more clarity and compassion. Remember, every shift, no matter how small you think it is part of your healing. If this episode supported you, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving a review. It means the world to me. If you'd like to connect with me, come say hi on Instagram at Christine Hassler. And if you feel called to be coached live on the show, you can apply at christinehassler.com/waitlist. For courses, retreats, and more resources to support your journey, visit christinehassler.com. You're not alone in this journey, and I'm grateful to walk it with you. Until next time.